If you've just found this video in isolation, welcome. This video is going to be showing the bad ending of Persona 3. One thing that I will warn you, however, I don't recommend going for this on your first playthrough out of curiosity. I've said it in the main video series, but the bad ending of Persona 3 still uses the normal credits song. I consider this a bit of a spoiler if you do it now, and the credits music has far more impact if you view it when ending the game the real way. So I would recommend that you do not go for this bad ending during normal gameplay. I've got the bad ending in isolation here, and I've cut out the credits, so you'll be able to see it safely without fear of spoilers. With that done, let's go to the bad ending. Getting the bad ending in Persona 3 is so obvious, you'll probably only get it by intentionally trying. You need to choose to kill Ryoji at either of the prompts you get to do so.
So, you understand?
Whichever point that you answer it to, it actually doesn't change the conversation very much. I thought I'd just say that. If you say yes while he's in this Thanatos form, he drops that form and then goes into this conversation. So I don't feel the need to show both of them. But anyway, I'll be quiet from now on and let you enjoy the bad ending.
I think that looking to the future is a great way to live. But that doesn't mean that other ways of living are wrong. No one knows which road leads to happiness. I'm glad I met you. This must be what it means to feel happy. Thanks for everything.
Yo! Damn, it's cold. But of course, you never miss a day of school. Man, can you believe this year's already over? We're practically seniors now. Just one more year. You think anything interesting will happen? I hope you're right. But seeing the current seniors makes me wonder. Seems like all they frickin' do is study. Talk about boring. Is that gonna be us next year? Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? Hey, is that girl looking at us? Dude, she's pretty cute. How come I never noticed her before?
What are you talking about? She lives in the same dorm as us.
Seriously? What's her name then?
I don't know.
So then why are you giving me a hard time? Anyway, it's always crazy in the dorms this time of year, with so many people coming and going. Oh yeah, did you hear? Akihiko-senpai's moving out. You know, the captain of the boxing team.
I know who he is, but I haven't really talked to him. Of course, all the graduates are leaving, even Kirijo-senpai.
Miss Student Council President. She's in our dorm too, huh?
Hey there! Are you looking at us? Is something wrong?
It's nothing.
She looks kind of depressed, doesn't she? Wait, do you think she might be interested in one of us?
I doubt it.
Ouch, that hurts.
Next, a word from the valedictorian. From Class D, Mitsuru Kurijo.
Thank you. This last year, I accepted an important responsibility as Student Council President. When I first addressed you from this podium, I spoke to you all about seizing opportunity while you had the chance. Well, it must have been fate that intervened and gave me an important reminder of this. As many of you may know, my father unexpectedly passed away due to illness. To tell you the truth, after losing my father, I also lost much of my self-confidence. You see, I had overestimated my ability to handle everything alone. Few people can be that strong. There are times when we cannot stand without the support of others. After my father's death, I received kind words from many people. You all taught me the value of allowing yourself to be cared for and protected. I would like to continue going forward with the support of those around me. For us graduates, it was truly an honor to share the last 3 years with all of you. Thank you so much for those wonderful years.
She seems kind of bummed, doesn't she? I guess even presidents cry too. Hey, where's that girl?
What are you talking about?
You know, the girl we saw the other day. I assume she'd be here.
Oh, her. Well, there's a lot of people who aren't here. Actually, I'm surprised you didn't skip.
Heh, I thought about it. Anyway, next year it'll be our turn. What have you got planned, Yucatan? College?
I haven't really decided yet. What about you? That's what I thought. You know how the president was crying? Well, I can sort of relate, since my dad passed away too. But that stuff she said about seizing opportunities? Give me a break. We're only in high school. I mean, yeah, it's important, but can't it wait a few years?
Well, at least one of us knows what he wants. You seem to be getting along pretty well with a certain someone, if you know what I mean.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. You tell me.
But anyway, there's really no hurry to decide what we want to do with our lives, right? I mean, high school's hard enough as it is.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Here's what I think. Sometimes you're better off not knowing. As they say, ignorance is bliss. Besides, you can't always be thinking about the future. In the end, it doesn't matter as long as you're happy. You've got to live in the moment. Carpe diem, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Woo! That was some speech.
To be honest, I'm not that strong of a person. That's why I get worked up so easily. It's hard to explain. It's just the way I am.
Hey, I know where you're coming from. Thinking about stuff like that just gives me a headache. So I try to avoid it as much as possible.
Now that's the Junpei we all know and love.
Everyone's so uptight these days. They just need to chill out. You know, take it easy for a change.
What are you gonna do if that plan backfires?
Well, that'll be that. But for now, let the good times roll. Karaoke, anyone? Let's celebrate our future.
A graduation party, huh? I'll go if he goes.
Well, in that case, I won't take no for an answer. I'll buy you a drink, all right?
So, even though this is obviously the bad ending, you do still get the option to carry over your data to a new game plus. However, seeing as the real ending is only 1 month away from the bad ending, there's really no reason to do this whatsoever, so I really don't get why this is even an option. I mean, it's there, but if you've reached this point, you might as well go for the true ending before you do a new game plus, so let's just ignore this. I'd just like to take some time to give my thoughts on this game's bad ending. Because as bad endings go, I actually find it quite interesting. Persona 4, and especially 5's bad endings, are much more obvious and really hammer it in that, yep, something terrible just happened. This game's bad ending is far more subtle. In fact, I've actually seen a lot of people who've watched this scene in isolation and have asked, wait, why is this supposed to be a bad ending? The true impact of this ending only hits you when you have watched these characters grow over the course of the game. From the outside looking in, this looks like a fairly normal graduation and ending, but if you really know the development that these characters have been through, their dialogue is just so wrong here, and it really sticks out. Junpei is still acting like the perverted class clown he was at the start of the game, with very little else apart from that. Mitsuru giving her speech doesn't feel too different, except for that pause that she gives when she says that her father died of illness recently. It really feels like that something inside of her is saying, no, that's not right, at that moment. The one that's the most painful to me by far is Yukari, though. Her speech about ignorance is bliss, we shouldn't care about the future because we're just high school students, well, one, it's totally ironic because they don't know that the world's about to end soon. But on the other hand, it just goes so far against her character development that's happened at the later part of the storyline. Just hearing her say things like that just feels like a punch in the gut, at least to me personally. There's also the touch that she's still on a last name basis with Mitsuru and acts like she barely knows her, which also hurts given how close we've seen their friendship get at the very last stages of the game. Speaking of which, all the friendships formed between the party are all gone. Another thing that really hurts is when they say, oh yeah, Akihiko's another student at our dorms, but we never really talked to him much. Oh, that's just so painful. Aigis is heavily implied to actually still remember what happened, but just can't look the main characters in the eye anymore. There's also the fact that with everyone's memories erased, not only Mitsuru's father, but also Shinjiro and Chidori's sacrifices were for nothing, and nobody even remembers them. Shinjiro is never even mentioned in the bad ending at all, and that's another thing about this that becomes incredibly painful. Akihiko and Mitsuru probably still knew about his death, but they wouldn't know the real reason for it. Everyone else, though, they didn't know him as far as they know. Also, thinking about what happened to Koromaru in this ending is a little sad as well. I don't really know what he'd do if he suddenly woke up and had all of his memories here gone. He'd probably just spend all his days waiting at the shrine. And something that just came to me when I was thinking about recording this audio, with Shinjiro still dead but nobody knowing the reason for it, what would happen to Ken in this reality? He suddenly wakes up, has no memories of the events that caused him to give up his desire for revenge, and he finds out that Shinjiro has suddenly died for no apparent reason. There are some pretty disturbing conclusions you can jump to about what may have happened to Ken. And, well, at the end of all of it, naturally there's the fact that the end of the world is coming, and there's no one able to stop it now. In fact, the final cutscene might imply that the world ends right there. The true pain of this bad ending can only really be known if you're very familiar with this game's story and characters. But to someone who is as much as I am, this really, really hurts. On a much more subtle level than the bad endings in later games in the series, and it's something that I do find quite interesting. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick look at the bad ending. Next time we'll be continuing with the game, and we will be continuing the next part of Tartarus almost immediately. So I'll see you then.